Good evening, friends. Jake Bobby Doyle here, and I'm here with my good friend Rob Minor. And we're actually sitting here at the Industry Cafe on this cold, wintry night, and we're going to do an episode about sleep. The episode title is Sleep Upgrade, Control Your Environment. Before we jump in, though, I just want to say one thing about the focus group that we conducted for our first episode. It was incredible, and we have so much gratitude for everyone that checked out the first episode. We really appreciate you spending your time and listening and giving us feedback. And some of the feedback that we got was references. So we want to be able to give you guys the info and the sources of where we get our material, because we're actually not experts, and that's okay. We're actually just like you. We're case studies. And we're learning and improving every single day. But the thing is, we spent hours doing this. We spent hours listening to audiobooks, reading books, listening to other podcasts. And our goal here is to take all of that time and all of that energy and condense it down to a packageable form that you can get from us between 25 and 35 minutes. We're not qualified, and that's a good thing, because that means we don't have special interest groups. We have your interest in mind, and that's what we're going with. Right, Rob?
Oh, man. Let me just compliment you. That was brilliant. And yes, he's entirely correct. The feedback that we get from you is going to allow us to recalibrate. And what our goal is, not to just give you good information, but information that's been digested, that we've implemented into our own lives, and we have data, we've taken it out, we've tried these different, 1% ideas.
Yeah, 1% every single day. And that's just what I want to say is we're condensing all of this information down, whether, we want to make it an easy form for you. So if you're driving to work, you can listen to the podcast and you can still pay attention while you're driving. We want to make it as easy as possible. And another thing you guys requested is, who the hell are we? Me and Rob are both entrepreneurs. I'm the owner of a successful photography business. And Rob here, he actually owns this amazing cafe that we're sitting in right now, about to do this episode. So we need to have energy in the system at all times. So we need to be ready to go from morning to night. And we need to have the energy. And, it took years for us to get to this point. It took years of developing, recalibrating. This is 1% every single day. And I'm just very excited, because I think that we need to give it back to the community, and we need to make it available in an easier way.
That's right. And the average travel time is between 25 and 45 minutes to your workplace. And our goal is to have great, valuable information ready for you to click on and listen to on your ride to the best place, well, hopefully the best place you're going to for the day. Yeah, so the episode, Sleep Upgrade. We're going to start with one of many episodes on this, and this one's called Control Your Environment. Before you plug your cell phone in or before you turn your car off, there's different things you do in order to best get out of it what you're looking for. And in this case, we're looking for meaningful, restful sleep. Jake, why is it so valuable? Come on, let's do this.
Well, we'll list some things off. There's a whole lot of information when it comes to sleep, and there's a lot that we still need to learn. Not us personally, but even the scientists. No one really knows for sure. But what I can tell you is energy is definitely one of them. To have energy throughout the day, you have to get a good night's rest. And I'm not saying 8 hours of sleep, it's about sleeping better. There's really no set rule with how many hours you sleep. As long as you sleep better, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is not necessarily how to sleep longer, but how to upgrade your sleep and sleep better, and how to bring it every day with more energy. Energy is a huge thing.
It's quality, baby.
Yeah. And what I've noticed is not even energy, just anytime I do something. So say if I got a new job and I'm learning that job, at first I don't know maybe what I'm doing. I'm learning the process. But what I've noticed is after a good night's rest, when I get to that job the second day, it's like it starts ticking. I'm starting to build something. So definitely sleep has something to do with that, with memorization and learning new tasks, and especially coordination.
That's right. I mean, you're basically using your muscles throughout the day and you're trying new activities or you're performing regular activities. But when you go to sleep, you're allowing your mind to now recalibrate from all those synapses, from all those movements, from all the energy spent throughout that day. And now you're going back through it subconsciously, allowing your body to, reroute those functions in a more meaningful or more efficient way. Without sleep, you would run yourself dry.
Yeah, you definitely would. But I mean, memorization is a huge, huge thing. I remember when I was a kid and I was learning how to ride a dirt bike the first time. That first time I was riding it, I was making mistakes, but then I got to sleep. And then the next day it was easier. It just goes easier every single day. But the sleep has to be there.
Yes.
It's so essential for our health, and we need it.
That's right. And, it's really about getting what you need in sleep. And that's something that you're going to have to, either journal or go over your past sleep information, whether that be from a cell phone, a watch, or just, logging it in your own head every morning you wake up. What time did you go to bed? What time did you wake up? And how do you feel? You can rate it with smiley faces even. I mean, with the emojis today, you can pretty much find whatever emotion you're feeling when you first wake up.
We've all had those nights where we get, we're drinking a lot of alcohol. We get maybe 2 hours of sleep, and I think maybe that morning you'd put the little poo-poo emoji.
Oh,
that would work pretty well, right?
I think it could be used in many ways. I agree though. It's you need to sleep well. And one of our goals here is to give some of the hacks that we've come across and that we've read about. And I can even go to as far as a personal situation that without sleep, I have a function of migraine that will make me black out because, as many individuals are plagued with migraines, you understand that it's neurological movement that is either blocked or moving faster than it should be. So when you're coming to a migraine, what is the best way to shut down the system to allow it to regenerate? And that's
sleep.
I mean, and I know that sounds like a simple solve all, but that is the one thing that regrounds the body, that allows it to hit the reset. That is your hard reset. Your computer, sometimes it freezes up.
Well, I was just gonna bring that up. You remember back in like 1998 when we were all running like Windows 98?
Yes.
And we always used to do that defrag. The
AOL. You've got mail. I think I remember.
Dude, those were the
you
days.
Would wait.
Oh my gosh.
2 minutes to Google anything.
And
it's
look,
not like that anymore.
Look where we are now. That's incredible.
Yes.
But back to the topic, it's it's very similar to defragging that computer.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at it, we're machines. I mean, we all have a basic operating system, and our goal with the last podcast was how do we do 1% to change that operating system to where when you have a specified amount of time, well, we'll just say 100 days, that's a 100% upgrade right there. So I think it's huge, and it's just 1% every single day. We're biological machines, and we got to defrag our operating system
every day at the cafe.
Of course.
So, I want to take it to one of those simple hacks that once I came across it, there was no coming back. And I learned it on night shift. When I was a nuclear engineer, I would have to do, my night turn, and I'd work 12 hours. And when I'd get off, the sun would be coming out.
Oh, man.
Right.
Ouch.
So, like, your body's natural rhythm is to be awake when the sun's up, right?
Of course.
That's just the way we're genetically tuned.
It's our circadian rhythm.
It really is. And you can't fight that, but you can do the best at working with it. And blackout curtains, foil, newspapers were my savior. Because I would go home and I would just try and sleep. And when the birds are chirping and the sun's beaming through and it's just warming up the whole house, it's almost impossible to shut down the body, to shut down the mind, and get real, restful, meaningful sleep. So I would be working these shifts, and I had a very high function position, and I was not performing to my standard because I wasn't sleeping. Blacking out your room is invaluable.
And even if you black it out, even if you're not a night shift worker, you may not think that ambient light, from the street or the cars passing by doesn't affect you. It does. It really does affect you. I think that's a huge thing. I mean, you can get blackout curtains, I think, pretty cheap. It's probably under a $100 investment, I would assume.
Well, let me ask you this. What's your sleep worth to you? It's
worth,
invaluable, right?
You know what? We spend so much time sleeping. It's
half your life.
Pretty much half of our lives.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't we get the best? I'm talking even like the best bed. When me and my fiance were shopping for beds, we didn't skimp it all. Let's get a really nice bed because we spend all of our time, half of our time in this bed. I want to make sure that when I wake up, I'm not hurting and I want to get a good night's sleep. So there's going to be an investment with blackout curtains, but it's essential because you spend so much time. You owe it to yourself.
You do.
You really do.
You're worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even taking a step back in preparation, controlling your environment. What's another thing that you do, Jake, before, it's time to even go to bed or brush your teeth and wind down? What are some things that you either remove or add to your routine in order to best prepare your mind and body for sleep?
So this is kind of a new thing. Within the last couple years, it's been gaining popularity. It's basically blue blocking glasses. So we have all this artificial light around us, and the blue spectrum of light is the light that you have to be concerned about. What do I mean by blue spectrum of light? All of your screens give off high energy blue light. Your iPad, your iPhone, your smartphone, whatever, it gives off your TV. It gives off very high energy blue light. And what happens is this blue light, it travels really fast and it enters your retina. And what happens is you have this little gland in your head called your pineal gland. And what it does is it secretes melatonin. So there's a circadian rhythm. And towards the end of the day, it starts secreting melatonin. Melatonin, what is that? That's the hormone that helps you fall asleep. That's why you're able to fall asleep. So the problem with these screens, I mean, this is new to us. I mean, we never really had this before until the 21st century or even the 20th century. But if you look at the evolution, our main light sources were fires, candlelight, that kind of stuff. So it's all about filtering that light out. And that's what these glasses are designed to do. They're able to filter that high energy blue light. So what happens when you filter that light out? Your pineal gland starts working again. It starts working effectively. And what I've noticed, even wearing the glasses, so about 3 hours before bed, they're yellow glasses and they block that spectrum out. I find myself getting a lot more tired at night and I fall asleep a lot faster. It's a huge thing. And one of the things that I've learned this from is Dave Asprey. He's actually the creator of Bulletproof Coffee. You probably heard of Bulletproof Coffee. In his book Headstrong, he talks a lot about sleep regulation, and I actually have a copy of it right here. This is a great book. If you want to learn how to bring energy to the system in terms of mitochondria, which are the little power plants in your cells. I'm not going to go into detail about that because that book is full of it. But that's where I learned how to filter this light out. And when you filter the light out, your body just works. It's filtering out that high energy light. And it's amazing because before you go to your doctor and ask for that sleeping pill, another pill right in your cabinet, another pill. Before you do that, you owe it to yourself. These glasses are under $10 on Amazon. I'll put the link in the show notes. Under $10. They're amazing. An investment for under $10. You can change your whole life, get better sleep by controlling your environment and filtering out that junk light. And it's just so essential, and you don't have to take another pill. That's one pill less you have to take. And that's what we want to do. We want to have natural ways to where we're not medicating ourselves all the time.
Well, you mentioned it's artificial light, and that's correct. We're very used to natural lighting, and even before we made fire, the only light we had was the source of, from the sun. With that said, we didn't even think about the wavelengths and how they were affecting our circadian rhythm until, of recent years. And there's cell phone apps and there's upgrades like your glasses, and if you own an Apple product, you can go ahead and turn on your night shift mode, and that allows you to reduce the spectrum or completely eliminate all blue lights coming out. It will change the color spectrum that you see, but that's not the goal when it comes to looking at your screen at night. It's not to keep you up. It's actually you're doing something to probably wind down. So why not use these free or accessory items that will allow you to get more meaningful sleep?
It's built right into the operating system of the iPhone. And I'm sure, with Android, there's probably an app. I'm not too sure, but there's probably an app that would control that. Maybe it already has built in. I have no idea. But if you're using a computer, there's a great program called FLUX, and it's free. I mean, the FLUX app, you can get it on any computer. That's free. Night shift is built into the operating system. The glasses, you're looking at a $7 or $8 investment. So that's our goal here. We don't have special interests, okay? When I say that we're unlicensed, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, because we don't have reps coming to us and say, hey, push this product, push this drug. We are just like you, and like I said, we're condensing that information, and we want to share it with you because it's all about giving back to the community.
Limiting that artificial. It's like Feed the Machine. Remember that episode?
Yeah.
You only want to put the real stuff in there, and the blue light spectrum is one of those you want to limit.
It's junk light. So.
It's not that you can't have some blue light in your life. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all like a full-colored HD 4K movie.
Well, blue light in the morning is actually pretty essential. It helps wake us up.
It's a stimulant.
Yeah, and it's found in the sun. All these spectrums of light are naturally found in the sun. You have all your colors in the sun. You have the blue light, the ultraviolet, the infrared, the red spectrum. All that's mixed together in the sun. But what we need to do is we need less of that blue light at night, because the sun's down. We don't need that light anymore, and that's what we need to filter out, and it's really easy to do.
Speaking of the sun going down, what happens when the sun comes up in the morning and there's dew on the grass, and as the sun apexes, what kind of happens? Does the earth heat up or cool down?
I don't know. I would say heat up?
That's right. It's going to heat up. You have all this energy, this radiation coming through, and it's warming up the earth. Well, guess what happens when it goes down at night?
It's the opposite. It cools down.
It's right. It's going to cool down.
Yeah.
Have you ever slept outside at a campfire, or maybe you were watching the stars late at night and you started getting really cold, and you start slowing down and you start getting prepared for sleep? That's actually something that is another one of our upgrade hacks. Is you want to sleep at a cooler temperature, maybe between 64 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. And what that does is it kind of slows down your heart. It slows down everything enough for you to prepare for the sleep that you need.
That's a great point. I mean, when I go to bed, I hate going to bed hot. I hate sweating when I'm sleeping. I don't like it at all. What I'll do is, this is another little hack, is a little temperature regulation hack. What I'll do is I'll get under the covers, I'll get all snuggled up under the covers. But maybe I'll kick that one leg out. That one leg under the covers, one leg out. And it kind of regulates me, man.
I'm looking at your leg.
We
right
all
now.
do it.
It's a nice looking leg.
It's pretty muscular, right?
Hey, don't bullshit. Hey. Oh my God.
It's all right, dude. It's all right. We're all adults.
We're all adults here. So, going through the life hacks, it's our goal to give you some information. This may not be something you want to do tonight, tomorrow night, but with the 1% and the little pieces of the puzzle that you can add together, you may not even see the benefit tomorrow or the next day. It will take some time, But I promise you, these are things that have been researched, studied, and then implemented. We're not just bringing this like, hey, did you hear about that thing? If we were, it wouldn't be that relevant. But
Right.
I have tested it personally, and I've set my thermostat now at 66 for about 2 years.
You save on heating, man.
Well, I mean, there you go. There's an ancillary. You're saving money and making money because you're fueling the machine.
You are.
Ooh.
You're by turning down the temperature a little bit, you're saving on your heating bill, and then when you wake up, you're ready to go. You're
You can
charged.
cut the check to Jake Bobby Doyle for saving you on that heating bill.
And you know what? That amount of money that you save, it will cover your $7 blue blocking glasses. That's the thing, man. Like with any product that we recommend here, most of the products are under $100, and we're not affiliated with any of them. It's really cheap stuff to do, and I think it's a huge thing, man.
You know, there's a couple other things I really wanted to touch upon on the life hacks, and it really is about what's already in your system or what your system is working with. One of them being water or any liquid of that kind at a certain time before you go to bed. Why do I bring that up? Oh, it's a great question. How much can your bladder hold, Jake? You know, and I'm not looking for the exact ounces, but the point is, all right, let me just jump right in. If you have a full bladder and you're sleeping all night on it, do you think that maybe something's going to trigger you to like leak the lizard in the middle of the night, or are you just going to roll through it and hope, you know, your bladder's just going to handle it and you don't have any leaks?
You know what, man? What really pisses me off?
Oh, I see what he did there.
I'll be having a great dream, okay? A wonderful dream. And it's like, oh, I gotta piss. I gotta pee. In the middle of my dream. I'm like-
Urination.
and sometimes in the dream, I'll be like, I'll think I'm peeing in the dream. You ever have that? We all have had that.
We've all had that.
So that's one thing that I really don't like is having to get up.
Those
And-
wet dream. I mean, right?
Right.
Never
Yeah. I
mind.
mean, it is. Yeah, it is wet. It is wet.
Oh, wow.
This podcast is getting raunchy, man. We need to have a viewer
It's-
discretion. in
Viewer
the front.
discretion is highly
recommended.
that too. All right, the other two substances that are generally or mostly in liquid form would be caffeine and alcohol. They're both drugs used in different ways for our system. They each have their pros and cons. So caffeine has a half-life of 12 hours. Maybe that's not relevant, but what that means is it takes time once you ingest that caffeine for your system to get it out. That's a stimulant, Jake.
It is.
If you have a stimulant that you just put in your body, you think you're going to be able to sleep on it? Well, you're not. Well, you could be in college and you could prove me wrong, but you're not going to get that regenerative, that high quality sleep that you're looking for. You know, and that goes with alcohol as well. You know, there's a certain amount of poison that your body is willing and able to accept before it's going to make priority to the regeneration. So actually what you're doing when you sleep with a belly of alcohol is you're fighting poison instead of going over your midterm exam or preparing for your next day at work or that sales call you got to make, because your body's too busy fighting off those other substances that are in your body.
You know, I have a great saying with alcohol. When you drink alcohol, it's like buying happiness from tomorrow.
It makes sense.
Just the recovery time it's really, I mean, yeah, have your, like we talked about this in the last episode, you can have the moderation. You have to
That's right.
define it. You have to define it, and you have to have intent before you go in and you drink that alcohol. And when you're drinking the alcohol, keep drinking water with it. Hydrate your system. There's still going to be a poison in there, but it's about minimizing, and it's not about doing it all the time. You have to moderate it, and you have to define moderation to where it fits with your individual goals, and have intent before you do it. Just don't sit there on the couch by yourself drinking a bunch of beer. You know, when I have alcohol, I like to be around my friends. I like to be around people. I like to have a good time. I have my good nights. There's fun nights with.
Don't you tell me what I can't do. No, it is. It's about moderation and like, so caffeine, whatever your lunchtime is, maybe 1 to 2 hours after you're finished with lunch, try not to take any more caffeine in preparation for the good sleep you want. Alcohol, maybe 2 hours before you're planning on going to bed, have your last drink and then start drinking some water or, even some pickle juice. I know that sounds weird, but you want to balance your pH. There's many things you can do to do that, which is lemon juice, grapefruit juice. Maybe you're not into that. Hey, water is still good. Maybe a little bit of salt in it. Get that sodium in.
Right. And that's just one of the things. I'm still a case study. I'm just like you guys. I'm still working on this. I'm actually drinking coffee with caffeine in it right now, and it's evening.
Oh, I'm telling.
I'm
But what are you doing after this, Jake?
going to the gym.
He
So
is.
yeah, I'm gonna.
He's
bring it on.
He's setting new goals.
Yes.
1%.
Now you got what? You got decaf, right?
I have tea,
Oh, you got tea.
but it
Well,
is not caffeinated.
That's perfect. That's one of the things that I need to personally work on is limiting the caffeine intake around night. I mean, what would you say would be a good time to quit caffeine intake?
1 to 2 hours after you're finished with your lunch, whatever that
Okay.
is, because our schedules are fluctuating, and the one thing that is not is when the sun's gonna rise and when it's gonna go down, and that follows in suit with our circadian rhythm. That falls in suit with our natural want and desire to rest. So with that is whenever you have lunch, it's going to associate probably with your day more efficiently. So 1 to 2 hours after your lunch in preparation, that you want that caffeine out of your system.
So if you're average like 9 to 5 guy, maybe around 2 p.m.
I think that's perfect.
That's a pretty good
Yeah.
roll.
That'd be a really good rule of thumb. I mean, because I understand what it's like to be it's 12 noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. rolls around and I'm crashing.
Yeah.
I will have a cup of coffee sometimes between 1:30 and 2, but that's my last one. I mean, I go in that with hardcore intent, like, all right, I'm going to hammer out my tasks.
Yeah.
This coffee's going to generate enough fuel for me to, move forward, and then that's it. I'm going to taper off.
Yeah, right.
It's a drug at the end of the day, and there are side effects to caffeine, and that could be, if you don't have caffeine in a day, you can see signs of headaches.
You can. It all depends on, your biology, and everybody's biology fluctuates a little bit. I mean, we're all human, but some people handle it differently. So you got to do what works for you.
You do you.
Yeah.
Jake, you really hammered this today, my friend.
Well, thank you.
I'm very proud of you. Here at the May You Be Well podcast, we do what we can, and we always strive for maximum results. One of the things that is always going to be in our podcast is the 1% takeaway. And today, I really feel that Jake's got the magic. He got the magic sauce. He's going to go ahead and he's going to finish us up with our 1% takeaway.
So I would say it's control and filter your environment to maximize and upgrade your sleep.
Jake, that was great. Thank you very much. You've listened to the May You Be Well podcast. Sleep upgrade. Control your environment.
Hey, Rob, may you be well.
Jake, may you be well.
And may you guys be well. We'll see you next time.